Hi, Chu. Hi, everybody. Welcome to My Other's Keeper. We've got uh, an impromptu visit going on today. So, what's happening is, for those of you who don't follow The Village, there's a group of us YouTubers who come together during times when it's tough to be without family. And so I have agreed to come on at this a little bit earlier than what I was initially going to, because a family member in this community needed some some space. So um, I am just rambling for a minute until I find out whether or not the people I had invited to come over are going to come over or not. But basically, I want to talk about life's purpose. Oh, my hat's crooked. Okay, there we go. So, hey, Crystal, we've got Todd, we've got Brian, we've got Chu. We've got a group going. Awesome. This is exciting. So, when we talk about purpose, when we talk about our life's purpose, um, the new year is a really kind of a natural point to do that, I think. Um, my poor little monster has Kleenex. Okay. But to me, the new year is kind of a natural time to look at what's your purpose, what you plan on doing. Years ago, I quit making New Year's resolutions. And that's the only New Year's resolution I've ever kept. So this is good. Um, but each year I do reflect on um, what has happened over the year. For example, my friend Todd has been in the hospital a lot, and he is Makers with Matrix Rabbit. And we're going to send out some number ones here for him. And what ones signify are loves, hugs, prayers, good thoughts, just embracing who you are. We're going to embrace Todd, and we're all going to love on him for just a minute here, because he is such a sweet man with a huge heart, quite possibly literally a huge heart. But yeah, Brian doesn't make resolutions either, and I don't blame him, really. Let's see. Here we go. Um, okay, sorry. I'm just. All right. So, when you think of your purpose, when you think of what you are here for, some people, I know that's a huge thought, isn't it? Some people think that that's just too big of a concept. Like, what am I on this earth to do? They look at what they do in their living, they look what they do for work, entertainment, family, friends, all of that other stuff. And it is, um, it's sometimes a little bit too much. I get overwhelmed very easily, very easily. Um, if I write a list of 4 things to do, I will see nothing but lots of things to do. I have a hard time breaking it down into do this, and even putting it in order. Just it's difficult to do. So I was talking to my friend Crystal, who you will see right here, Crystal M, in the chat, and she doesn't do resolutions either. She makes goals, and that I can kind of. Oh, Todd, we love you, buddy. If you want to just sit and listen, be more than happy to have you just sit and listen. I just my heart goes to you, my friend. Um, so yeah, don't wander off. Just sit back, relax, and enjoy my rambling and just as we go. Um, so one of the things that I don't really know that I've set as a goal, but I have, what's the word I'm looking for? I have set as a standard in my life. See, I don't have rules in my house. I have standards. Yeah, you don't have to have everything clean and washed and whatever, but there's a standard we live by. Bugs, not okay. Rodents, definitely not, unless they're in a cage. Things like that. We don't want to have filth and disgusting, but I am not a tidy person. Ask anybody who's been in my house for any length of time. They can tell you I am not a tidy person, but I'm not dirty either. So that's a standard that I have. So I guess the difference between goals and hang on. Sorry, I'm looking at these messages going back and forth. The difference to me between goals and promises, or goals and the word has escaped me, resolutions. Crystal had said earlier too that for her, a resolution is not something people keep. A goal is something to work toward, to attain. And I think she's got a great point there. At least with a goal, you're supposed to have SMART, S-M-A-R-T. It's supposed to be a SMART goal. So specific, measurable, attainable. I can't remember what the R is. And then T is a time. So specific, achievable, specific, measurable, achievable. R would be, it's something about having to report to others, not responsible, but something like that, where it is, oh gracious. Anyway, see, this is what happens in my brain. It's just a fuzz. Realistic. Thank you, Crystal. It's realistic. And T is timely. So it is a matter of, it's a matter of being able to put together relevant. So we've got realistic, we've got relevant, we've got all sorts of great R words that were not coming to my mind at all. And having said all of that, I personally, setting a goal is one of the hardest things that I ever do. And it is generally because I have a hard time with making promises and commitments, because I am so afraid that I'm going to fail. Failure is not an option. Doesn't work for me. Over the years, I have had such a hard time. Hey, Keela. Hey, Joel. Nice to see you. Thank you, Joel. I really appreciate that. But over the years, I've had such a hard time with commitments because I have a hard time keeping commitments. I don't like letting others down. I don't like to promise something and then not be able to deliver. Those things are some of my personal struggles. This is not something that I talk about frequently. It is something that I do struggle with frequently, though. So any support and advice or ideas, definitely welcome. Put them in the chat. More than happy to see that. I love being able to look back at what's gone on, though, and see growth. So over this past year, I'm going to take myself off the screen just for a moment so you can see what my background is. Actually, hang on. Yeah, just a You get that? Year 2. Tomorrow is my anniversary of being on YouTube. for one full year, twice a week, every week for one full year. And then some extra times in there because devotionals and game nights and things like that. I have been able to have people come and visit and spend time, and it fills me with joy. It fills me with a sense of purpose. So I guess not a resolution, but a goal that I had was to have and maintain this YouTube channel. So I guess I'm going to set a goal and I'm going to say it out loud, and that scares me to no end because, like, literally I'm getting chills thinking about it. I want to become monetized before this time next year. So before New Year's Eve 2025, I want to have more than 1,000 subscribers and more than, I think it's 5,000 or something like that, 3,000 watch hours within a 12-month period. And the reason I want that is for a couple things. First of all, who couldn't use the extra cash? But on top of that, to know that there's a community out here, to know that there is, I have my typical 5-10 people who are always here, and I love y'all. Thank you so much. But I want to be able to have, hey, Daniel, nice to see you. I want you to be able to have a chat where you can go and feel safe. The guests that I have on here are people who've had a lot of tragedy in their lives. Sometimes we have fun. Sometimes we joke around. That's not a big deal. That's awesome. I love it. Because not everything can be serious and all of that stuff. But we do have a lot of people who share deep vulnerabilities. And because of that, in the chat, we are a safe space. There's no messing around with trolls. Like, there's times when, and it's only been maybe a half dozen times when I've had to block somebody because they're just being 100% inappropriate. The only time of day that I give them is for me to go, okay, yeah, you're done. But when I'm talking with somebody online, I'm talking to that person. I'm not usually watching the chat. So that can be different. That can be difficult. And that's why having moderators or wrenches, because you'll see their name is in blue with a wrench beside their name. That's why having those people around are so important, because those people can watch and they can take control of a situation that I may not be aware of at the moment. So what are some other standards that we have? We have I ever mentioned that I bounce around a lot? See, that's why I like having a guest, because I am not necessarily a straight line kind of girl. I'm definitely one of those bunny trail kind of girls. So I have totally, yes, Keela, thank you. Please hit the like, even if it's just to laugh at me. Yes, hit the like, hit the subscribe. And that's part of becoming monetized. Is it helps a lot. Actually, it's essential that I have subscribers who come back, even if it's coming back once a month. It doesn't have to be a wide commitment, but hit the subscribe, and you'll see the little bell there, and there's an empty bell, and then there's a bell that's all filled in. Hit the bell that's all filled in, and then you can have the option, the notification will come up twice a week that, yep, we're doing this, or once a day, because every day at 2:00 in the afternoon is commitment, is when I aim to have a Bible devotional. And so every day there's at least that going on. And I would love to have you join me. You don't have to agree with anything that I'm saying. I am willing to have respectful discussions. I won't argue. If you're not wanting to be converted, I'm not going to convert you. That's not my job. My job is simply to present what the Bible says. So that's my goal for this coming year. Become monetized and be consistent, remain consistent in what we're doing. Just before this, I was actually putting together all the thumbnails for the next month of the daily devotionals. And we're going through the stories that are basically just the typical kids' stories of the Bible. There's a lot more options than what I am going to completely do, because there's not, oh, there we go. That some of those just get into the weeds, and they're not the ones that are having a place that people can feel safe in things that they may be upsetting them. Absolutely. That's right, Joel. That's what I really want to be. I want to have a place where people can feel safe in saying things that may be upsetting them, or place where they can talk about feelings that they're having, emotions, and the big scary stuff. But also feel free to be funny and to joke around. And just because one person is feeling a big emotion doesn't mean everybody has to feel that emotion, but it does mean that we all have to take care of that person. That's what being a keeper is. Doesn't mean you have to feel what they're feeling, but it means that you have to hold their feeling in your hand and respect it and take care of it. Hi, Alfonso. Nice to see you. So yeah, there's people who've shown up in the chat who have that bell with all alerts because, I'm not on at my typical time. So a renewed purpose. What is your purpose? What do you find gives you life, gives you joy, gives you the ability to get up in the morning? I sometimes have a hard time with that. Just the idea of having to get up in the morning. Joel is right. We learn from others. It's the best way to grow. Respect for others absolutely is a good start. Keeping in mind that, humor is 100% part of relationship. No, I shouldn't say 100%. It's a lot relationship and a lot culture. Okay. Living in community is absolutely important. Poetry and puppies gets Brian Lucas out of bed. Absolutely. Brian, I would love to be able to have a conversation with you. How, if you want me to make poetry, how would you suggest I make some poetry? And saying just sitting and writing isn't helpful. That's what a lot of people will say. They'll just say, "Oh, you just sit and start writing," and I'm like, "Yeah, that might work," but anyway, I have a hard time with that. So and yeah, I'm fiddling around with things because my ADHD brain is not engaged with another human in front of me. So, oh boy. If I put the link to, there we go. Okay. Hang on. I'm going to put the link here in a chat that I am in. If a person doesn't join me, say in the next 2 or 3 minutes, I would love to be able to open up the floor to have anyone in here who would like to come on and just have a chat, engage in talking about maybe what your purpose has been, what you want your purpose to become. Okay, so that kind of stuff. It doesn't have to be anything to do with big lofty goals. It could just simply, I want to be a better student. I want to be able to. Okay, so here we go. I'm just going to type here. Do you want to come on now or in 30 minutes? Okay. So that's my guest for 6 o'clock, is saying that, oh, Teresa, yeah, that'd be great. Okay, I'm going to put my link in here. I don't believe I have ever actually, oh, hang on. That's the village link. That's not the StreamYard link. How do I remove that? Delete comment. Come on, comment. Go away. So I'm going to invite. Oh, here's Brian. He's holding. Yeah. So, hi, Brian.
Okay. Writing poetry. Other than just do it. Okay. It sounds cliche, but you got to have something to say.
Oh my, this green screen is not work. It's not blowing my skirt up. I have to say, it's not doing it. How you guys doing this fine evening, day, morning, whatever, somewhere?
I'm doing okay. I now have a glut of people who want to come on. Hi, Alfonso. Hi, Ben.
Nice. Yeah, that's a nice setup you got there.
Cool.
Yeah.
Ooh, you a musician? Cool. I'm a writer, so poet.
So Alfonso is, I don't know why I'm having a hard time hearing. Maybe my settings are low. I don't know. Can you guys all hear me okay?
I hear you fine. How's my volume? It might be low for all I know.
No, you're good. Okay.
Okay.
No, I don't know why this is interesting. Okay. Anyways, no, Alfonso is a musician. He is also legally blind. But he ends up playing a lot of instruments, which is very cool. Yeah.
Well, I'm a poet and a drummer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
go ahead, Brian.
Oh no. I was just
there we go. Okay. And Ben, what is it you like to say that you do?
What is it I like to say I do?
Ben is teleporting. That's right.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out this whole green screen thing, which is not. It does not. Screw it. No virtual background. Turn that off.
Okay.
There. What? I don't want virtual background. Then I know, Bert. I'm keeping an eye on you. There we go. There we go. Good gods. What do I do? I'm the official pain in the. No, I can't say that.
You're pain in the.
Yeah.
Neck. Right there, right?
This and that. Officially, I'm a drafter or a GIS guy, database programmer, surveyor, but nobody wants to know that crap. I like studying people. Just say that.
Yes. Yeah. And that's actually, he is going to be on, if only I had where did my calendar go? My calendar's gone missing. It's usually right here or here on my table and it's missing. Anyway, Ben is going to be on with me on the 2nd, I seem to recall. Is that correct, Ben?
I think so. I think that's what we're
Yes.
shooting for. Man,
And we're going to be talking about body language and studying body language. So that's going to be fun because that's something he and I both love to do. So, yeah, he has a bit more experience than I do. He's studied it and he's worked with. He had Scott Rouse. Now, for anybody who knows body language, he had Scott Flippin' Rouse on his channel. You cannot tell me that you're not cool. I'm sorry, but yeah.
I still need to invite Greg at some point.
Yeah.
Greg
yeah.
and Mark and
And
Case is
James,
just too busy. But yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm gonna put Brian on the spot again here. Brian, we are all going to write a piece of poetry.
Okay.
Okay. So
Okay.
everybody grab a pen.
Oh, baby, I love you to bits. I want to squeeze your. I'm sorry, I'm a drummer. That's what you get. Nobody
I'm a
asks a
drummer
drummer to write lyrics.
Hey, I'm a drummer
Nobody.
too, and one of the greatest drummers of all time. One of the greatest drummers of all time, Neil Peart, was their main lyricist. Rush.
Yeah, I talk about outlier though. He also played guitar, although he didn't play it well. But he learned to play guitar to write music.
Keyboards.
And then there's like Phil Collins. I mean, wow.
Phil Collins.
You know, the man's a genius.
Okay. Depending on now, I'm going to get to Mr. Ben's point here.
Okay.
To be a poet of any type,
Yes.
you got to have some type of internal rhythm.
Mhm.
It's good to have rhythm because you got the beats. Okay. Say you got to know, the iambic hammer. That's 10 syllables. What's this? I'm losing you. Can you hear
it just takes me forever.
Oh,
yeah, I can hear you.
You're cutting in and out a little.
Okay, because my backwards internet's messing up on me.
Okay.
But it's you guys to have no matter whether you do whatever verse, whether it's rhymed, free verse, blank verse, whatever, it's good to have that rhyme or that rhythm. And so being a drummer actually can help with that.
Absolutely.
A little bit, but I try not to work. Yeah, I do fiddle with lyrics here and there, but yeah.
Oh, I've actually the thing that I've discovered thanks to Misha was the program Suno.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah, I've been using like a lot of my stuff, like my rhyming stuff, been putting in there, and some remarkable things have been produced by it. So
really,
I've got a whole playlist. Here I'll stick it in a private chat so you can share it.
Yeah, I have like 10 pages of stuff on Suno.
Yeah. Well, I just started the other day, and I don't want to, do a subscription. So I'm just doing it slowly, surely. But if you want to, I'll put it in private chat there if you want to share it. Okay. So sorry to interrupt there, Kim, but you were saying we were going to write something.
We're going to write something.
Okay.
So what are we going to write, Brian?
I don't know.
We need a topic.
There once was a man from Venus who had a head shaped like a. Oh, I can't say that one either. Fine.
That's it. See, now you get my dilemma. I sit here and I sit at this blank thing. A lot of times, just sit here, and it's the music. It's like I envy those guys that can just write about a subject at the drop of a hat. It works. My stuff works differently with me. I can But lately, I've been doing some writing on the computer and stuff. I've been working on things and stuff like that. But you want?
Mhm.
Let's start off with the lines. Give me a line. Give me a line.
No, not you, Ben. We know the stuff you come up with.
Somebody, give me a line.
2025 is going to be amazing. Don't puke. No throwing up here on my channel. Just saying.
Oh, okay. Can I give it another? Here, okay.
Could I have a different line?
Have a different line.
Oh wow, trying to find a word that rhymes with that one.
See, that's the thing, Ben, is it doesn't have to rhyme. 2025 is going to be amazing. La da 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 da.
Yeah.
That's what you need, is you need that rhythm.
Yeah. Let's see.
That's what I beat things for. You beat things. That's how you get that rhythm. You beat the crap out of it. That way you don't have to talk. And you sing like I do. And they don't ask you to sing. Or they relegate you to background vocals where you're so buried that nobody can hear you anyway.
Right. Yes. You sing solo. Solo, no one can hear you. Or you sing tenor, 10 or 12 miles away. You know,
that's all. Yeah, that's typically all I would do is I'd have my drum mic, and it would be so you're just basically harmonizing.
Right.
And that you can do fairly well, buried behind the noise a little bit, and I can kind of still give you some warmth, but I'm a bass. Not a whole lot of room for bass in rock music or prog.
I can usually sing anything from alto to a medium to high soprano-ish.
Ooh.
So
I wish I could sing like Rick Emmett or Geddy Lee. Oh yeah.
Actually, baritone.
Yes, right? Absolutely.
Is bass right? Baritone.
Yeah, bass is just a little lower than baritone. That's right.
Yeah. Recording bass, that's the most difficult part because that's the foundation of the music.
Sure.
And when it comes to recording, you want to keep that dead center.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you don't want the bass to be panned left or right.
Mm-hmm.
Because then what happens is you will come across what's called phase cancellation. What's called phase. We get two of the same audio signal, the two mono signals, into stereo. So when you get two of the same signal coming in, they'll cancel each other out.
Yep. Here, Barbie has a good one. I like Barbies. 2025 is going to be an amazing year. Ben will be staying all day in his underwear.
Oh crap, we're live. I thought we were backstage.
Oh no. I don't do backstage chat. No.
Oh my gosh.
No, we needed somebody on the village to be live. Scheduling happened, so I volunteered. So yes, sorry, Ben. I didn't mean to blindside you.
Oh my gosh. Let's see here. Where are we at?
It's a good thing you did keep it all PG. I mean, like really, it was Had you not actually been live, you could have been quite a bit bluer.
Well, I do. My channel is marked not safe for children for a very good reason.
There you go.
Right.
But actually, I like to do that.
All right, Brian's got something for us.
Okay. It goes. Is 2025 going to be amazing? Right now, I really just can't tell. No one knows the answer to that question. In a handbasket, we could all be going to hell.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So, yeah. Yeah, it that's a start to something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
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 Whatever I do, I try.
Yeah.
It doesn't always work with me, but I try to do something with a positive spin to it.
Yeah.
So, like
Sure.
that's something that I tend to aim toward. With my illness, having bipolar type 2, I can't guarantee my mood, but I can guarantee where I'm putting my brain, right? Got to aim it the right direction.
Sure.
So just try not to focus on politics and world struggles and all that other kind of stuff.
Something like that.
Something
like that I can really something like that I can turn into something funny, maybe. I don't know.
Well, I certainly don't mean to say that I don't actually delve into writing lyrics and things like that. I do. It just takes me an inordinate amount of time. I mean, typically I just write down the framework and then I have to go back and research, okay, words that rhyme, word meaning and things like that. And then I work with it a little bit. It does take me a long time to actually write lyrics.
Yeah.
Well, with me with writing, it's whatever I decide to spit it out on the page, and then I'll be like, okay, is this good? Okay, I'll work on it. And then I've had stuff just fully form, and then I've gotten like ideas for an image. I get an image, and then it just built from there. Like one of the best poems I've written in the last several years. It's the love poem in my hometown. It's about my hometown. It's 3 poems in one. You can do it as 3 individual poems or one longer poem and stuff. And I got an image. I was walking down to the store. An image popped in my head, and it just built from there.
Okay.
It's that muse, man. That muse can be fickle. Yes, very fickle.
Yes, for sure. When I was teaching this December, I had like 4 classes that I wanted. Ooh, hang on.
Yeah, Teresa came up with a good one.
Here, let me read it.
No doubt. In 2025, the dawn breaks bright with dreams anew and hopes aflight. We journey forth with hearts so bold to craft stories yet untold. Through winding path and skies so vast, we'll chase our dreams and make them last. In 2025, we find new worlds to seek. Oh, Teresa, that is
really good.
Nice.
That is beautiful.
What? Okay. I played in rock bands. The only reference I remember to this is one of David Bowie's songs. That was it.
Okay, that's
do that. It was poetry.
Snapping at open mics and poetry readings. If you hear something while the poet is performing, you do that. That lets them know, and it doesn't interrupt them, and it doesn't interrupt the person doing their thing. They say something, and it knows it lets it's part of the interactive
feedback. Okay,
it's part of the feedback.
Positive feedback. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm still of the personal belief that they need to allow air horns at golfing competitions.
You're not wrong. Just ask Happy Gilmore, right?
The price is right.
Yeah.
So everyone had a good Christmas?
Yeah, I had a really good Christmas. How about you guys?
It was.
I sure did. I got a new record player.
Nice.
You can see the platter has LED lights.
Yes, I see that. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Oh, is that ever neat?
I didn't do anything Christmas time, so.
You didn't do anything for Christmas?
No, not really. We were supposed to hang out at my buddy's house, but I got over there and I was exhausted, so I just went home. And then
I
the
think
next
that might be what my New Year's is going to be like. I think that's going to be fairly low key doing this kind of thing.
I ain't doing
No.
anything tonight. I'm sitting here and not going anywhere. So
Yeah.
That's awesome.
No,
Yep.
electric trains at
no plans for the evening.
Oh, nice.
Nice. Alfonso
Great.
got this train. Awesome.
H scale. Wow.
No, G.
Oh,
G.
very
Indigo.
nice.
Is it? Okay.
Hey, Indigo.
Well, I'm gonna knock off. I'll see y'all around.
All righty. I'll talk to you later, my friend.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, so Santa been good to me this year.
Awesome. Yeah, Alfonso, your volume is very low.
Oh, it is?
Is there any way we can gain that up a little?
Okay, how about now? Is it
It's getting better. Yeah.
okay? Let me
Can you
see
do
with
just
let me see my audio.
Yeah, a little bit higher if
Okay, how
possible.
about now? Because
That's
I'm-
better.
Now I'm distorting.
Nope, you sound good here.
Well, I'm hearing myself distorted. Let me see.
Ah.
Oh, your
Okay.
yeah, or self monitor. Yeah, okay.
Mm. Okay.
And I still hear myself distorted.
You sound
Yeah,
fine.
you sound good here.
Okay.
Crystal, how you doing?
All fed up.
All fed up.
It's not
Okay, well,
something.
that's good.
So, how's everyone doing at the end of this first day of, or the last day of the new year? The old year. Oh my goodness.
Speaking of songs, I still stand by the song I wrote for the Christmas special, Santa Sucks. Because yeah, he brought me what do you call it? It's not the vid. The current cold that's running around. It's like an old fashioned common cold. And yeah, and it lasted. Some people are having it for weeks on end. I had it
Oh,
for a
no.
good solid 4 days. I was at bottom, and then I started climbing out.
Okay. So yeah, you could do without a little bit of Santa today.
Yeah, I'm kind of like take Santa and put him in a hurt locker for a while.
A little bit of Iron Maiden for him. Yeah.
Dun,
Yes.
dun, 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 dun. Yeah.
Not that Iron Maiden, but sure, yeah, that too. Depends on who you are as to what's the worst torture. Yeah. So besides this cold, what did you do for Christmas? Like, did your family get together? Was it no?
No, because
we had our Christmas
Cook-
dinner.
a couple of us were sick, so yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. So, Crystal, what did you do for Christmas?
Hung out with you and Doug and Bee and
She came to my house.
other friends of yours that
Yes.
met.
Yeah.
And we went to
Yep.
the Enchanted Forest
That's right. Yep.
and just had a blast.
I
Spent
know,
time
right?
together.
Honestly,
Played
this was
games together.
one of my top. We played games. This is probably like my favorite. Kim's new blanket is adorable. Absolutely, it is. Crystal gave me this beautiful purple blanket with a giant emperor penguin on it. I love it so much. Anyway,
Yeah, so for all of you that were thinking I wasn't actually working on anything, I just couldn't went online.
that's right. That's right. So, yep. So let's see. Yeah, anytime that I can do something for someone else, like Crystal didn't have a place to go for Christmas this year, so do something for her. It does it for me, right? It's a little selfish, maybe. I don't know. What do you think?
I enjoyed the time.
I did too. Then we had another couple come over who didn't have family around either, so they had supper with us, and that was also really nice. I enjoyed that.
It made
So,
it so that Christmas actually had a meaning again for me,
Mm,
and
yeah,
not just a day to try and avoid.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I think the part that I enjoyed the most was playing games.
Hmm.
I
Our family,
don't do that a lot during the rest of the year. So
no,
Christmas time is kind of my place to do it.
our family was we played games every Sunday growing up,
Hmm.
and even when I was out on my own, I'd go to my parents for Sunday, and mom and I would end up playing a game together.
Hmm.
So to finally be able to have somebody I can play a game with,
Absolutely.
that's
And you got a really interesting gift as well, I seem to recall. It's a
yeah,
microphone. You can put it right there.
Hmm.
it's still with everything else that hasn't been packed.
Okay,
Unpacked.
fine.
Hasn't been unpacked and isn't packed yet.
Hmm.
Indigo is feeling better. They're ignoring the fireworks and it makes them feel happier. Yes. That's one thing that I have to say. This year, very low drama when it came to
Hmm.
Christmas. So, yeah. Hey, Cosmic, how you doing? Nice to see you. Oh, what's going on in your yard?
Oh,
The picture
almost
behind you.
shaking hair.
Oh, hello.
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 Oh, there she is.
There we
Hello.
are.
How you going?
So, how was your Christmas, Cosmic?
Good. I drove.
Yeah?
I drove all Christmas
you-
Day. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Oh wow.
Yeah. Like
Okay.
for about 10 hours I was driving. So
Whoa. Where were you going?
I was going from Emerald, which is a mining town in Queensland, Australia, to
Okay.
Glasshouse Mountains, which is where I am outside on my computer.
Okay.
Yeah, so excuse me waving. It's not I'm waving at everybody. Hi. But I'm
That's
also
okay.
waving at the
Waving
flies.
waving's not a problem. Talking with
Yeah, I'm
your
waving
hands.
I'm also
Waving at
waving off the
bugs?
flies. I'm waving the bugs.
So Ben, what would
Waving the
Mark
phone.
say about that? The waving of the
Using Illustrator. Oh, yes, you're just kind of. Well,
You're
that was
illustrating
kind
away
of
the bugs.
yes.
It's the
and
flies,
also,
mate.
put-
It's the flies.
also a little bit of the princess wave in there too. I noticed.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
You're not
Makes
supposed
sense,
to move
though.
the wrist.
Well,
Yeah.
makes sense
Yes, I'm
though,
from Queensland.
since Cosmic is the absolute ruler of all of Australia. It makes sense that she would do that.
Well, yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
She's
Indeed.
been everywhere. She's done everything. And frankly, she looks good doing it. So,
Yeah. So yeah,
Shucks.
you know
Um,
the Bermuda Triangle. She just needs some boats. That's all. Pyramids,
I
all
don't-
that stuff.
I already get lost. I don't need no triangle.
yeah.
But yeah, no, it's been good. And yesterday, well, today in your countries is my birthday.
Yes, happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
you. Happy
Happy
birthday, dear
dear
Cosmic.
Cosmic.
Happy
Happy birthday to you.
I take it all in.
Did
There
you
you
have
go.
a good birthday?
I did. It's the one day of the year I walk around going, it's my birthday. Celebrate me.
Bow down. It's my birthday. Yeah.
Hey, shorty, it's your birthday. It's gonna party like it's your birthday. And I am short,
Yes.
so that song really works for me.
Well, perfect. That's perfect. Hi,
Yeah.
honey.
Are you going 6 plus 7?
Yes, going from 6 till 7. Sorry, you guys talk. I'm gonna mute
Oh
for a moment.
yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, so I went to the local tavern last night and I've got the Fuji Instamax camera, and it's really fun for me to go and take photos for other people to have memories, because I get to keep the memories on my camera and my
Yeah.
little memory card. So I
Sure.
take the photo and they get to have the memory of the night because they're all drunk. So, and I'm not. So, and I'm just taking the photo and just they get to keep a memory of the night, and they're like, who took this? And how did I end up with this photo? And it's got the date on it, and they're all happy. And most of the time it takes a little bit of convincing for them to, I'm like, may I take a photo? And they're like, oh, no, I'll take terrible photos. And I'm like, no, you don't. Everyone takes great photos, because I've got the setting of like, I've got the setting to make it look like a great photo for everybody. So I'll take a photo and then I'll show them the photo, like, you want to take another one? And I'll take the photo until they're happy with it. And then I'll print it out, and they're all amazed that it's like a little Polaroid and it's like a little photo. And most of the time they're too little and too like washed out for them to look terrible anyway. So they got
That's how
they
you
got
do
great,
it.
yeah, they got great photos of themselves and a great night. And it's like, I feel great because I don't have a visual memory of that aphantasia thing that I've got. And so I get to go around having memories of a night of all these people that I get to meet, sharing stories with. And now I've got this more love thing going on. It's even better because I might get to share, like last night I got to meet someone who was really interested about it. I wish I got his number, but I'm still new at this and it feels weird to get someone's number.
Yeah.
So
It almost feels like you're going to try to hit on somebody, doesn't it? It's like, hi, can I have your number, by the way?
Yeah, well, like I only started the project on the 1st of December, and yesterday was the end of the month. So,
Right.
That's 31 days of the finished project, and I've already got a semi-informal agreement with a big channel of a Australian
Fantastic.
channel. Yeah, it's a
Nice.
men's focused
Awesome.
channel of it. It's a fishing and adventure channel. It's a big channel.
Oh, wow.
And they're like positive. They're positive, and they talk about men's mental health and all that sort of stuff, and that's really positive for me. And they're keen to talk about. They're not. They've got a cafe local to where I was living up north, so it's a beautiful cafe, and they're keen for me to have men go in there and sit down and talk. So that's that was within 3 weeks of me actually starting well, actually 2 weeks. I'm just trying to, it was within 2 weeks of me actually starting the channel. And then I've also got I'm a published author before my 45th birthday to do with my project as well. And it's amazing. And I'm also not even upset about the topic of my chapter, considering that it's to do with my thing, and because my mum's going to be mad. But oh well, she can be mad. Maybe she shouldn't have done it in the first place. Well, maybe don't do the wrong thing, and then the truth won't come out. So
yeah, or when the truth does come out, it won't hurt so bad.
Yeah. So just if you like, I've done the wrong thing, but I always try and be accountable for it, and I apologize. So, and then I don't walk around going, oh my God. Actually, I do walk around going, oh my God, I've done the wrong thing. But I also know that I've apologized. But it's my own insecurities, my own little, my own self walking around going, oh my God, I've done the wrong thing. But I've also been accountable. My mum's not being accountable, so she's walking around going, I've done nothing wrong. So, it's on her now. So maybe if she's walking around going, it is frustrating. But she also tried to call me, I'm pretty sure, twice last night, because I've cut her off. As far as I'm concerned, she's no longer in my life until she decides to hold herself accountable. And I don't think that's going to happen because narcissists don't realize that they're narcissists. No. And I'm not diagnosing her, because you can be an extreme narcissist without being an NB and diagnosed. listen. And there's
Yeah.
there's many people walking around who are going to be narcissists, and they're not. Like, it's more common than you think. The only thing that's uncommon about it
Yeah.
is being diagnosed and treated.
Mhm.
Yes. Because usually they don't think that there's anything wrong with them. So why would I need to be diagnosed with anything, right?
Exactly.
Precisely.
So, and I feel like that's the main issue here is that I feel like everybody's got some traits of narcissism, and it's well known in psychology is that you have to have some level of narcissism to survive.
Mhm.
And I've actually got a very my therapist and I have come to the conclusion that I have a very interesting form of the opposite of narcissism called egoism, and that's because I've grown up around extreme levels of narcissism, and I have to protect myself. I'm on the opposite end of narcissism, and I've done a video on that on my channel. It's, I'm going to do a better video because I didn't realize that I did it, and I spoke to my therapist, and he's going to come back at the end of the year after he's done more research and stuff, and I've been diagnosed informally as with egoism. So I've got a very
like
egoism.
ECHO.
Yeah,
Interesting.
egoism. Yeah, it's like it's if you ever into Greek mythology, there's egoism and echo and narcissism.
Narcissism.
Well,
Okay.
echo and narcissist, they're like narciss, but the two. He was the one who was looking into the water at his own
Right.
reflection, and she was the one who could only ever. She was always cursed to only ever repeat the words of others.
Oh, right.
Yeah, but she was in love with Echo. She was in love with Narcissus, but she could never get him to look at anything other than. She could never get him to look at her because he could only ever look at his shadow. But she was always waiting for someone to come along and say the words that could get him to pay attention to her. And what's really interesting is that I have echolalia, which is I am forever cursed to say the words of others, which I find really interesting. Which, if someone says something like potatoes, I have to say potatoes. But that's got nothing to do with my egoism. That's got everything to do with my autism.
Interesting.
And
So you mirror, but you mirror instead of mirroring body language, like.
Oh no, I mirror body language.
Neither.
If someone does I mirror body language as well.
But you do it with speech. That is interesting. Oh,
that is.
Yeah, but I don't think me being a victim of narcissism. Well, I don't know. Me and my therapist are going to just one second. I'm gonna pause and check on these children.
Sure.
We gotta check on the kids.
Now, I heard that when I was in the 8th grade, talking about 25 years ago, I was told that you could actually cut someone out with your body language.
Absolutely.
I don't know if that's true.
Nope, absolutely you can. That's part of, when you speak without using words, right? Yeah. So it if I just went, right? I'm turning away from you. It's like dismissive gesture. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, right? or one of Greg's favorite examples. Whenever anybody says, "Oh, there's nothing to body language," you always,
exactly.
and that's showing a reaction. So it's kind of like there is actually something. There's a lot to body language.
But you'll find that also people like I in particular will actually mirror body language. If someone's doing something that I find interesting, like a movement, I'll do the movement as well. But that's autism. But I don't know if me being autistic has made me more of a susceptible to narcissists. Or if it's just me being someone who has grown up around two parents who are narcissists, which made me then probably more susceptible to being victim to narcissists. I find that's probably more likely.
Yeah. As soon as you start echoing back to a narcissist, they're gonna like
Ooh.
you better, right? Doesn't that make sense?
Yeah.
So your
Yeah.
echoism
But I
and
find that
your
I'm
yeah.
but I find that me being it's a whole twisted little thing, like not twisted,
Mhm.
but you just got to wonder like little how it kind of untangles, because I'm quite autistic. I'm up there on the levels, to the point that sometimes I can be nonverbal. Yeah, I know it may not present that way, but I present quite well, considering that I'm 45 as of today and yesterday at my times, but
You're still a child, you're not
you
yet
know
50.
I'll be a child until I'm dead.
There you go.
But it's
Growing
sort
up
of,
as a
but the mask, like, you've had to put on a mask and you have to echo everything. It's something you have to present the same as everybody else it's a protective factor.
Mhm.
So, I sort of wonder, I don't know how much, I think I'm more me now than I ever have been before, because I've taken off so many of the masks. But then I have to put on I put on whatever mask I need at the time.
Yeah.
And then
But
whenever I
that's
want
right,
to, I take
knowing
them all
which
off.
mask to wear to be
Yeah.
socially acceptable
Yeah.
or to be
Yeah.
whatever you need to be at that moment, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I have the internet
Yeah.
mask on right now. So
I know that feeling. Yep.
Yeah, everybody wears a mask, and you pretty much have to. Otherwise,
Oh,
you'd be admitting all your deepest secrets and things like that. And nobody wants to, And also, like
my mask is very thin. It's a very thin veiled mask. It's like one of those little filigree masks, the masquerade mask. You can still see most of me poking through. It's just that I keep it, the little swear words are the ones that you're not meant to say, is like all held in by the filigree.
yes, yes. Oh, that's funny. Yeah.
Try and keep
I
it.
saw a
Try and keep
mask
it classy.
well, I saw a mask recently that you know how thieves used to put like a stocking over the top of their face, like somebody's pantyhose over their face. Well, this particular stocking had actually a face printed onto it. And so it actually looked like he was putting on a face, but it looked very natural because it totally contoured to his natural face. So that was just really kind of disconcerting. It's just kind of weird.
It does something weird to their face. It's like you can print them out and put them into jars, and it's like,
yeah.
And then you put plants in them. You put the plants in them, and you got these little criminal plants hanging around in your house. You're like,
yeah.
Who's that one guy? Hannibal Lecter. You can say that
was just wear the face. Actually, was that Hannibal or was that Buffalo Bill that would do that?
That was the most Hannibal. Hannibal did it to the prison guard, or the when he was in the library or whatever. That was how he got
Buffalo
away.
Just like put the lotion on the skin.
It puts lotion. Yes.
Yes.
Or he gets the hose again.
That's right. Now there's some poetry. It puts the lotion on the skin or it gets the hose again. Yep.
I do like how Anthony Hopkins was talking about how when he was playing that role, that he ad-libbed the part where he's talking about eating the guy's liver, and he would do all the things like that to freak out for Jodie Foster. And apparently it worked really well.
Yes.
I wouldn't mind. Actually, I'm going to do a proper video on the echoism when I'm not quite so shocked, because I did the report and I'm like, oh, that's exciting, and then I read it through properly. I'm like, oh god, that's me. So Yeah, I'll do it properly when I'm not quite so shocked and all that sort of stuff. And it was quite interesting, and I've spoken about it with my therapist now, so I'm a little bit less upset about it.
When you first get diagnosed with something, it's such a shock, isn't it?
No, it's like I took the report to him and he read it through and he's like, oh yeah, no, this is true.
Oh,
Yeah. That's the thing about my therapist is he's very good. It's not like he's not someone he's blocked about.
right.
He's quite willing for me to take information to him and him take it on board. But it's not like I'm absolutely diagnosed. It's a preliminary. But because nothing's quite fit, like BPD hasn't fit. I'm not BPD. I'm not aggressive. I'm not any of the things. But I have traits. I have traits of all these things. But this one is one of the
Exactly.
ones that fit. But
Yeah.
but also this is one I'm also healing. So I think if I had been diagnosed with this before I've done all the dialectical behavioral therapy and all that sort of stuff, it might have felt something that might have felt hopeless. I would have been like, but how can I fix this? I'm already halfway through it. You know, I'm already halfway healed.
Half of, well, I shouldn't say half of, part of this last year doing this YouTube channel has healed me so much that I no longer qualify for having PTSD as a full diagnosis. I have traits of it now, but it doesn't affect me constantly or consistently like it used to. So that my psychiatrist, she's like, whatever you're doing with this, keep doing it. It's really, really good for you. So,
well, even BPD is like people, like 80% of people with BPD go into remission after a year. So, and a lot of people don't get told that. So, and I've done. You should see all the reports I've done. Like when I was helping this person that I was helping through trying to escape, he was quite difficult to deal with. So when dealing with that, to distract myself, I was doing report after report after report, trying to understand what the behaviors were and all that sort of stuff. So it was quite helpful. So I did something like 9 or 10 reports on BPD and the difference in BPD in men and women and narcissism and the attraction between narcissism and my words aren't great, narcissism and BPD in men and women and the differences. And it was really quite interesting. And most of it is like it's not the only, most of it's DV focused because that's the focus of my project.
right.
But it's quite interesting, and it shows that a lot of mental illness and alcohol is a cause of, and drugs is a cause of DV. Well, not a cause, a symptom is a cause and a symptom of DV.
Yeah, that was one thing, and they're talking about the DS. Oh, they don't actually talk about DSM-5 rather, but it is the one type B behavior that is curable, or that that you can be cured of, versus the other antisocial and other stuff. Yeah, it's pretty grim.
I actually had this really cool Venn diagram of like all the antisocial, like of all the cluster B diagram, like
cluster B,
yeah. It's got like the different. I wish I could find it. It's on my phone because I couldn't save everything, but it's got all the different aspects of
you guys talk. I'll see if I can find it and download it.
Yeah, but it's got like BPD and like all the different ones, and just the commonalities of the different behaviors, and just and there's so many different, because you can have one and another, or you can have none of them and just have you can have traits of all of them, and have none of them. There could just be something else going on, but they're not actually taken into account of some underlying something else. It could be autism.
Mm.
It could not be. It could be none of these cluster B things. It could be autism.
Yeah, and that's a lot of it is too. Is they're typically scales. I mean, everybody rates on them. It's just how far and where it becomes problematic and things like that. I mean, I think for like histrionic, I think it takes 5 of 7 to be diagnosed. Narcissism, it takes I think again 5 of 8, 6 of 8. I don't remember the numbers, but yeah, pretty much the same thing. And so yeah, you can have features, and it also, just because you're that way a little bit doesn't mean you're that way always. I mean, you
Yeah.
can be
Well,
that way at certain times in conflict stuff.
it was so disappointing because when my daughter got diagnosed with BPD, one of the psychiatrists was so like, "Oh well, that's it now. We can't help her." I was like, "Fuck off." I was like hell you can't. and I was like, I will make sure that you can, because like you can help everyone. And so I went down the rabbit hole, and
Mm.
you can help everyone. And I looked and I found
Oh yeah, you can.
EMDR,
Yeah.
and that is one of the things that they've found, that EMDR, they've found that that's like a absolute. They found that it has a very high rate of absolutely helping people. And I was like, ha, you liar. So, you can't tell me you can't help people. And I'm just one of those people, you can't tell me you can't do something when I'll find out a way you
Mm.
can.
Yeah, well, you can. Yeah, and that's one thing too, is that even if something is incurable, you can still help somebody. But yeah, it's just yeah, and I don't mean to say anything's incurable. It's just it's very
Well, there's ways of making it manageable,
yeah, and
you
that's
know.
exactly yeah, yeah, because otherwise you're going to be intolerable, and that's not a way to go through life. Um, so
Well,
yeah,
that's right, Indigo. There's certain people who just don't have this. They don't have the capacity, or this. They just haven't.
Mhm.
Yeah, they just haven't. They don't have the skill. So they just aren't good at their job, basically.
Yeah, and that's a lot of it is a lot of people who are in the bad subcategory. Yeah, they don't want help. I mean, oh, I'm not nothing wrong with me. Everybody else is
Yeah,
screwed up,
exactly.
and how do you fix somebody
Yeah.
who's like Machiavellian who they just love to manipulate? You have
Oh
to
no,
take
the
away
thing is,
that love.
if someone is going to the doctor with BPD asking for help, they want help, so they're helpable.
Right. So I don't know if this is exactly the Venn that you found, but this is when I
It's a bit
typed
bigger.
in.
Mm.
It's a bit bigger. Oh, there's more to it. Okay.
I'll find it on my phone. I'll send it to you.
Okay.
Because I've got so many videos and videos. But it's a bit bigger, and it's got a lot more stuff. I'll find it and I'll send it to you,
Mm,
so you can have it for your own
yeah.
thing.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's like
But,
like
Yes,
people who are antisocial. I mean, and that's what you'll fit
Yeah.
psychopaths into. They are fit into that category. Now you
Yeah.
can't cure them having a non-functional or non-existent amygdala, but you can constantly work with them and point out, no, this is not acceptable behavior, and you need to act such a
Right.
way, and they'll need that reminder to keep them on track.
there's
Yeah.
also different reasons people go to therapy. I mean, if
Yeah.
someone's going to therapy to save a relationship, and then they stop because the relationship ends, they're not actually going to
Mhm.
therapy for a good reason. If they're going to
Yeah.
therapy to help themselves to heal and be a better
Yeah.
person for themselves, and the relationship ends and they still go to therapy, then yeah, they're going to therapy for a right reason, because
Yes.
they're doing it because they
Exactly.
want to help themselves. So
Mhm.
that's a good thing. And that's because
Mhm.
there's this
Yeah.
guy, like the mental healness guy. I didn't trust him. He's a narcissist, like a self-aware narcissist. No, I didn't trust him at all. I was like, nah, don't trust you. I feel like
Mm.
you're just doing it
Mm.
because you're a narcissist and you just want the views.
Yeah.
And then I saw that he did this video, and he broke up with his girlfriend, his wife or something, his girlfriend or something, and he continued to go to therapy afterwards. And I was just like, huh,
Good.
okay. That sort of changed my opinion, and I actually started paying more attention to his videos after that, because it might still just be about views. But he might be helping people and still be getting what he needs at the same time. And,
Getting more self-aware.
No, he might be getting his dopamine hits of views, but
right.
still helping people at the same time, and that's like a balancing act of, I get what I need and still give you what you need by helping people, and that's a bit of give and take, and I can accept that.
Mm-hmm.
But if it was just about, I'm just going to be telling you what you want to hear just so I can be getting some views and some money, then I couldn't take that.
For sure.
But now it's changed my opinion on, and I've gone back and watched some of his videos, and it's changed. I'm like, okay. And I still take it with a bit of, it's still at face value, but hearing a narcissist speak, I'm like, oh, okay. And a narcissist who knows they're a narcissist, it's like, okay.
Right.
Well, yeah, and a lot of people need to confront people like that to hear it from them. And that's one thing he's really good at. He's really good at telling you, no, this is what it looks like to somebody who's like me. I look at you as a fuel source. This is what I need, and that kind of thing. Because a lot of people, they like, oh no, it's not that bad. Oh no, you don't understand. They're just misunderstood. He's like, no, he is good at it's like, here's the reality. Here's what you're really up against. And so, yeah, he is good at giving people a rude awakening. But yeah, I can see him be a very polarizing figure for.
But I like what he said yesterday, which was I don't know what I saw it on. I don't know where I saw it or what I saw it. It was like a narcissist who you catch cheating will never trust you again.
Yeah,
I was like,
that kind of makes sense. That was my dad right there. Yeah. My mom would catch him cheating all the time, and he therefore never trusted her.
Yeah.
And so in his brain, his the word has escaped me. His delusion was that my mom was a cheater. Because he couldn't imagine maybe anybody who wasn't a cheater, kind of thing.
Yeah, that's typically, as a matter of fact, when you insult somebody, when somebody insults you, rather, they will typically use the terms that would hurt them the most. So they'll call you,
that's right.
They call you stupid or this or that. And it's like, okay, I know what your triggers are now, because we just tend to do this. We tend to think everybody's like us.
So I hadn't thought of that, but I believe you're right.
It's also projection. If they think, if they're doing it, they think you're doing it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Or if they think they can do it, if they're thinking about doing it, oh well, I can think, I can
sort
do
of
it.
Like, Ben, you're such a terribly, and you're an incredible millionaire. So there. Oh wait.
Don't I wish.
Not quite how it works.
Well, yeah. Mother Russia used to do that during the 80s. You could kind of tell what they were doing because the things they would accuse other countries of doing. It's like, okay, now we know that you're
still does
this
that.
and this and this.
That's right. Yes. Absolutely. Now that is one of the things that, especially when thinking about my dad, that's exactly what would be, he was projecting his own insecurities onto whomever. And so, yeah, it totally, like, this is what you're doing, therefore, or this is what I'm doing, therefore you must be doing it. So I'm going to blame you before you can blame me. Yeah, and Barbie's right here. My first husband didn't trust me and accused me of cheating quite often. It was him who was cheating. That marriage didn't last long. Good. Absolutely. Hello, other restrained. DJ Nico, nice to see you.
Yeah, sometimes that's another big thing they like to do. They like to accuse you of doing it. And then that way, if you ever catch them, well, I'm only doing it because you did it first. You know, the whole gaslighting.
That's right. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Gaslighting is a whole nother, it goes up a few levels when you've got a narcissist doing it.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like that just is, yeah.
It's very important to document. Which reminds me, I heard rather an odd quote from somebody who was one of my heroes in the 80s, Rick Emmett, who was the lead singer of the band called Triumph. He was bringing up about how he uses masks, and he was talking about how each guitar was a mask for him. And one of the things that he said was it's very important to journal, write down your goals, because that is what will help define somebody succeeding versus somebody who just this would be nice. And the whole thing of delaying short-term gratification for long-term healthiness. And this is just, I was just rather shocked. It's like, wow, this is really, really insightful. I just didn't expect it from him, of all people. I mean, not that he's not a stupid guy by any stretch, but I just didn't think a rock star. Of course, Triumph, they were kind of different. They were, I mean, people thought they were doing drug stuff. They really weren't. I mean, they were like choir boys. But yeah, they
comparatively speaking.
Oh yeah, I mean, they didn't do any drugs or this and that. And Rick was talking about how, you know, because he's hitting these high E's and things like that. He needs to have his wits about him versus other musicians would go up at the S Festival and
absolutely
they need that bank of computers washing their voices and everything else.
Yeah.
Good morning, morning. It's morning.
Hello.
It's morning in that picture. It's morning. Good morning, Indigo Queen. How you doing?
I have a question for Nico. Okay, because of this comment. Growing up with a mother who acted bipolar and narcissistic, I can relate. Sadly, she never got the help and diagnoses that she needed. Took a lot out on me. I would like to know, as somebody who has bipolar disorder, what does it look like acting like you have bipolar? Because borderline personality disorder and bipolar can look very similar. And Indigo, you were wondering about DID, dissociative identity disorder.
Well, yeah, because more of the BPD, because I had an online friend in a different community. I was the target of his like mania ? He got diagnosed with BPD, but for some reason in the dynamic group that we were in, I sort of became a target of his.
Mania is not a feature of BPD.
Oh,
that's bipolar.
Bipolar. That's bipolar.
Yeah.
I was the target of my mother.
Is there a different, like, not like a different, because with DID, like the trauma creates separate personalities.
Yes.
But with BPD, is it like that people have masks?
Yes.
Because I'm just like, the more that I dig into Carrington with my therapist, the more I'm like, I'm wondering if he was starting to show signs of like BPD or some other mental health stuff. Because anyway, I've been looking into it because I'm curious.
Okay.
And
we
of
really
course,
can't tell that
like,
from what
it's changing.
we really can't tell that just from a small. We're not mental health to professionals. We can only tell what we know from our personal stories from the people that we have dealt with personally.
Right. Yeah.
No,
And,
that's fair. It was just a thought I was having as I
Mm.
was trying to
Yeah.
learn about it or find credible sources.
I
Because that's
guess-
the
I
other
guess-
thing is like finding credible sources on
I guess,
these is hard.
what does your
'cause I feel
therapist say?
Well, knowing his mental health history and his family, they were kind of like it could have been the start of schizophrenia because his uncle had that.
Ooh. Okay.
And
Mhm.
I had family
Sounds more
members
likely.
who had it, but the thing was like I wasn't around them when they were unmedicated. Like
right.
those family members by the time I came around had been through like years of like treatment and medication and stuff like that. So it's interesting because the way I describe him the night that he attacked me, it physically was him. Like I
Mhm.
understand like he was not
Mentally,
physically a
it
different
wasn't.
person, but like when I looked in his
Oh.
eyes, it was not like it was not the same person. I don't know how
That
to
is said
describe
about a lot of times when somebody is evil. Like they'll say, "Oh, their eyes turned black," or it just wasn't there anymore. And that is a dissociation, yes, but it doesn't necessarily mean you have dissociative identity disorder.
Yeah.
It just means that you're outside of
I
your
think eyes
regular
can turn
reality.
red
Yeah.
too.
Yes, and
Yeah.
see, I
Actually, this
think
is something that I was
he
really.
definitely did have disassociative moments.
Right,
Mm.
right. And
But
yes,
anyway, yeah.
DJ Nico, you
Actually,
did
yeah.
you did elaborate it better. Thank you very much. Sorry, I'm just gonna go back into what Nico was saying. Acted bipolar.
I have a question for you, Crystal, too, after this.
Okay. She acted very differently at home. Every time I read my cursor over top of something, it blanks it out. So, okay. So, maybe borderline 2, but deep depressions and very manic phases. That's decidedly bipolar. Bipolar and borderline personality disorder have some very similar traits. But then there are some very deep differences, and one of them is the manic phases. We both dive very deeply into depression, but the manic phases are almost exclusively bipolar. And very manic, it sounds like she might have had bipolar type 1. Very manic is the type of manic that you would go to the hospital for because you're outside of reality in that euphoric state. So
I think they call it psychosis.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, that's exactly right. I wanted to describe psychosis without actually using the word, but you're exactly right.
Yeah, I've been in it.
Mhm.
With someone
Actually, I
with-
have a question for Chris. After you go, Crystal. For Crystal, I have a question for you.
Okay, go ahead.
Actually, I wanted to know if with someone with DID, can each different personality, can they have a different diagnosis?
That part I do not know. I only have one personality, so I don't really know.
Mm.
I'm gonna lean towards
Well, each different.
probably.
Yeah.
For the simple reason, one of the ladies that I knew that had DID, it was actually one of her personalities that carried her babies. It was not her as the host. It was only one of the personalities that actually carried her babies.
Wow.
And not to cut in on the question for Crystal, but now I think that the YouTuber doesn't make as many videos because they've reintegrated, but Multiplicity and Me, their entire channel for the whole time they were in school basically was them and their DID and their different personalities, like talking about DID and kind of like showing that they've had like this version, like this person had different diagnoses than this person. So I think it is very possible chemically and like mentally, emotionally.
Like
No,
I
I-
know
I-
each in most DIDs, and I say this in my small DID amount, most personalities will sound different, will carry themselves differently. Some of them have different voices, some of them do not. When my other personality comes out, there's times when she's more like a 4-year-old, and other times when she's probably around 12 or 13. Now, do I think that
Little
those are two different personalities? I don't know.
I would suggest that they are. Because the personality of a 4-year-old is exceedingly different from a personality of a 12-year-old. Does
Yeah,
that make sense?
Also,
it would make sense, but I've only ever been told her name is Lynn for both of
Okay.
them.
Yeah.
So that's why
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't know.
sometimes they're not aware of each other. From what I
Yeah,
understand,
okay.
watching,
Someone,
oh,
yeah,
sorry,
I
go ahead.
know. Someone been
Sorry,
But
I
I was
muted
gonna,
her.
I was gonna say what I understood from watching Multiplicity. I mean, okay, to anyone watching, I do not have DID, so I'm not answering from like a perspective of someone who like has experienced it. But to my knowledge, the trauma that caused the split is the source of the personalities, and the more that you work on healing the onion, as Crystal says, like peeling back the layers and going through the healing, those personalities may reintegrate into your host person. But until that point, like you could be different ages. Like a lot of people actually experience, like Jess would talk about how she would be one place and then like black out because a personality took over, and she'd be like, when did I get like to the beach? Like I have no recollection of going to the beach.
The
It could be
losing
really
time aspect.
scary. Yeah,
Yeah,
losing time,
absolutely.
because I've disassociated. I actually realized I was disassociating because I was watching DID channels.
Interesting.
And I was like, wait a minute. Indigo doesn't have more than one person in their brain. But I know, like, they would talk about disassociating. I'd be like, I resonate with this.
Yeah.
The true meaning with DID, the true way that multiples happen, is normally with extreme trauma. And what happens is the host is on, I'm going to use the bed as an example, and the abuse happens to the host. Well, a part of your brain can't handle what is happening to you, so you break away and you leave the room. You completely leave the room so that this host is a shell on the bed. And each time you have one of those traumatic events happen, another personality leaves the room. Another piece of yourself leaves the room.
Mm-hmm.
So you end up having to integrate all of those little pieces to be able to heal. And those little pieces are going to be different ages, different sexual orientation, different sexes, all in the same body. And so it's really interesting to watch as somebody changes from one person to another to another to another.
Yeah.
And I have seen that. With myself, I am not classified as a true split personality because I never I never had a piece of me physically leave the room.
Mm,
I hovered just above the door, but I was always in that room.
I
mm,
see. That makes a lot of sense.
And
And I
with
would
the same person that Crystal had to dissociate from, I did as well. And again, I was literally hanging above, like in the rafters of the room, looking down, saying, gee, I wish I could help that poor girl on the bed.
mm,
So yeah, that
I don't honestly think I realized I had been disassociating like
mhm.
mm,
for years. Like I was living with him for like 3.5 years, and I would go to work and come home, and I only really like realized that disassociating had been a thing that was happening after I left living with him, where I would like
Mhm.
live with my parents, get ready for work, and then I would
mm,
be back from work, and I would be like, I don't remember working.
mm,
I don't remember
Mhm.
driving an hour. I don't remember,
Right.
but though when I became aware of it was because, like I said, I was watching Multiplicity, and me and her, this woman was so brave. For years, she fought the UK system to get her
mm,
diagnosis,
Mhm.
and she was going to school to be a therapist because she was like, there's a need in this
Yeah.
community for people
Yeah.
to be understood and to like get
Yeah.
receptive help. And her channel, it's just like, I just recommend it to anyone. Like I said, she hasn't made very many videos since she became fully Jess, mainly because
mm.
she had a child and went offline. But like all of the content
Right.
on her channel was made by her personalities.
Interesting.
Like, so you
Mm.
see her evolve from like Jess talking about like, I didn't remember going to the mall, and then you would hear another video be made by her personalities, and like she had to do a lot of work to get them to acknowledge that each other existed. But I mean, it's our brains are
Absolutely.
weird, fascinating places.
Other
Yeah.
restrained. I love this. I love this analogy. Use the car. Sometimes you're a driver, sometimes you're a passenger. Sometimes you're in the back seat, and sometimes you're just totally gone. So, and DJ Nico says the same, or adds on to that. Sometimes you're the mechanic too, right? And other restrained, please email me. I would love to talk to you
Oh
on
yes,
a
welcome
further
if you haven't
basis about
been in the
this.
chat before.
Yeah, I don't know that I've met this person before, so I would love to be able to talk to you more, a little more fully, and even if you'd be willing to come on the channel and kind of explain what your situation is,
Leo.
explain.
Mm.
There's Leo, but yeah, explain your
Yes.
situation and your experience. I would love to be able to hear that. So
Yeah. And like it's
yeah.
hard, like I'm a curious person, but I always feel awkward unless somebody I know with a
Mhm.
condition. I hate the word disorder. Like I'll say condition because I don't have a better term. But like I
I would
always
rather
feel bad
disorder.
unless somebody comes out and says like, ask me anything. I'm like, okay, I feel less awkward than if they tell me and then I have a million questions. I'm like, what can I Google to try to understand? Because obviously, like the two people that I had very traumatic situations with, like one of them did
Mhm.
tell me at one point I have been diagnosed with BPD.
Mm.
And so I
Mm.
was like, okay, I would like to try to understand what is BPD, because if I could, it might not fill in the blanks for what happened with our friendship, but it might just give me context of like why. Does that make sense? Like I can never really understand why he did something because I'm not going to go back to him and ask. It was like a bad enough
Right.
situation that I was just like, block. Like, you know.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's the way I
Same
am. I'm
with
like,
Carrie.
I want to understand, like, especially if I'm
Right.
ignorant about my approach. Like, I don't want to be insensitive to people who do have it, if that makes
Mhm.
sense. But yeah,
Mhm.
anyway.
Yeah, no, that's that all makes total sense. I would much rather hear from the horse's mouth than hear about what somebody's been studying, right? So that's why I would rather talk to Crystal about her dissociation, or other restrained about their dissociation, or whatever. I could talk about my limited experience, but it was like 2 or 3 times it happened with different people, same type of situation, right? So,
And not everybody splits.
right, that's right. Yeah,
Mhm.
you can have a dissociation without splitting off.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's what happened to me. I dissociated. It's like when you're driving home from work and you're just kind of, your brain goes somewhere else, but your body knows what's going on in traffic, and you remember, oh, how did I get home? Man, that was fast,
Yeah.
And so that's
Oh
a
yeah.
natural dissociation. Happens a lot. Yeah,
Yeah.
it happens for a lot of people. But they're
Daydreaming.
not a split. Daydreaming, yeah, that could be part of it as well.
Daydreaming is is the mildest form of disassociation.
Oh, okay, cool.
No, that makes sense because you're not exactly present in the moment that you're in.
Yep.
But you're also
Right.
maybe not in danger, because I would say I associate the word daydream with positive daydreaming. Like I don't know that. Can you have negative daydreams?
It is possible. A lot of times therapists can get people to unknowingly disassociate because they will use stuff like, okay, let me talk to the part of Ben that thinks disco is
Mhm.
cool. There is no part of Ben that thinks disco is cool. There is no
What's
disco. There is only Ben.
What does the AMA stand for?
That's what I was just going to ask. Other, what is AMA? And yeah, no,
And I do agree. More
somebody with
people.
schizophrenia as well is
Yeah,
frequently shown. Like everybody who's homicidal maniac is either has
Yeah.
schizophrenia, or has DID, or bipolar. Those are the top 3 that
More people are starting to
Hollywood-
come out and say, like, I never watched the movie Split for that exact reason. Because I was
Ask Me Anything.
watching.
So Tiff says AMA is Ask Me Anything. Okay.
Oh, Ask Me
Okay.
Anything. Okay.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
like, is that a newfangled acronym that I didn't know?
No,
Yeah.
it's not. It just,
I was
in that
just
context.
told out of context that I was technically born in the 1900s. They consider the 1900s
were.
1900 to 1999.
Yes.
I feel like I aged 10 years in a minute when my coworker
let's-
said that today. I was like,
Exactly.
no. What? Okay, I'm a very good vintage cheese, okay? I'm aging pretty well then from being born in the 1900s.
Yes, I age like a fine banana. Yes, that's me.
Welcome to my life. This is how I feel whenever somebody says, "What was 8-tracks? What was that like?"
See, I know what I see. A lot of people are like, there's no way you could know what that is. I'm like, my sister was born in 82. Also, I'm very into vintage before it was, oh, this sounds so meta, before it was cool. Just because my parents had it around. We had
First
a
of all,
record
you called it
player.
meta. That's saying something right there.
I did grow up in the 90s online, so like I'm a mixture of weird, like I'm the last generation
Yeah.
that technically touched grass more than we were online. But I've been online
Yep.
long enough to know all the slang from the different generations. And to
Right.
can we just say, yeah, I age like an improperly stored wine vinegar.
Love it. Love it.
Nice.
Sometimes you just need to laugh. Oh my god.
I'm gonna get you guys to hang on, continue on without me for a moment. I need to be away for a moment.
Oh, okay then. All righty.
Ben, I just want to say you're amazing.
Oh, now, young lady.
Listen,
Oh, I'm sorry.
chat agrees that you're funny and a silver fox, okay? Not just this chat, multiple chats.
Well, I don't have anything to say to that.
It's okay. We all take compliments badly. It's fine. We're all working
Yeah,
on
you
it.
know what?
We're
You
all
know what?
working on it as a team to accept compliments. I also can't. It's
You know
weird.
what? I'm gonna channel my what's that guy's name? Oh gosh, Dr. Phil. Thank you. Very kind of
Aw.
you to bring that up. There. That's my inner Dr. Phil. That and you gotta own it. You have to own it. Own what? But yeah.
The,
Oh, well.
the amount of times that man says you have to own things and he's questionable is kind of amazing.
Well,
I did watch him a lot when I was younger, though. Maybe I've always been fascinated by psychology, but I think it's
yeah.
because I knew there was the issues with my family, and I
Mm,
decided from like the ripe old age of 7 that I didn't want to be blindsided by what could happen. And so
sure.
a lot of my high school like classes and stuff, I would try to do extra credit projects.
What?
But the thing with mental health is we are like unlocking more secrets of our brain every second.
Oh yeah.
And
Oh, yeah,
terminology understanding is changing. Like almost as soon as I say this sentence, something new is discovered.
Yeah.
So I kind of remind myself of that too, as like terms for things didn't exist when I was younger, or
Sure.
didn't exist for certain generations of people in a way that was accepted by society. And I think that's what's so great about our community, having people in so many different age groups
Mm-hmm.
talk about their journey, because like we all started somewhere. I mean, we didn't just wake up and like be healed. Like we worked at it, you know?
Yeah.
Or are working at it. We're
Yeah.
still working at it.
Well, yeah, and I was amazed. I never actually did an actual program on
Oh.
why we forget stuff, but I was doing a lot of studying into a memory and how it's actually stored versus how we were taught when I was a young lad. Believe it or not. But it's just amazing how vastly different it is now versus then, their understanding of it. And a lot of that, I think, is due to the advent of several different things, but one of them being the FMR, a functional magnetic MRI, the
Resonance
functional,
imager.
yeah. I just never can say those
MRIs.
multi-syllable words. But yeah, the fMRI,
Functional
'cause that
magnetic
they're able,
imager.
yeah, yeah, they're able to do it real time, and then because they're able to do it real time, and they're able to give people stimulus, they're able to see things like they've done some fascinating experiments, like have
They've
people
done
listen to music.
MRIs on trans people as well.
Mhm.
To like
Oh, yeah.
literally prove with medical science
Yeah.
that you're like it's not a choice.
Well, yeah, and that
Okay.
was
It's crazy,
the
just like the way our brains form things, and like when we're impressionable, that's why it's harder to learn when you're
mm,
an adult, is because your brain is like setting in its ways. That's why I try to like learn
Yeah, there's
something
not
new every day.
The synopsis,
No.
the synoptic receptors, and all of that
Yeah.
stuff all
No.
kind of gel. Yeah.
Yeah, neuroplasticity becomes more of an issue the older you get. Oftentimes when you get older, you start losing a lot of those pathways, which is why you get dementia and things like that. You just basically losing the ability to remember. And you think your brain gets on another track thinking it's somewhere else. And
Absolutely. Yeah.
But yeah, the MRI, fMRI, was a huge part of, no memory isn't stored in just one part. Your brain has to reconstruct it every time it digs back to that cerebral cortex. It It digs up to the prefrontal cortex. It digs down the amygdala and it assembles all this garbage together. And the problem is, a lot of times, something slightly different, but we still convinced it's right because it's us.
Mhm.
And you
Mhm.
talk about cognitive dissonance, or I don't know what you call it, confirmation bias. It's right because it's mine. I remember it.
Mhm.
It's dead on. Everything else is wrong. And yeah, there's been
Oh
instances
my
where
gosh, you
people.
could just teach things like your energy is making my brain remember things. Maybe
Yes.
I would have, if I had a teacher like you that wasn't boring and also like I wasn't in a room with no windows when I was trying to learn psychology in college, I might have actually stuck with that major. I'm pretty sure they made a broom closet a teaching room when I was a freshman or sophomore in college because I could not understand how a classroom could have no windows. I'm like, how is this legal that you could like have the door
It's not.
closed, but there's no windows?
No, it's not.
It wasn't, yeah.
Ben, you've got a question.
Statement stack on
On the neural regrowth,
statements.
increasing neural elasticity or neuroplasticity?
Statement stack. Statement stack.
Neuroelasticity.
Statement stack. I wonder if that's a misspelling. I'm not quite.
I'm not sure. I was hoping you would know.
I mean, I wonder if it's statement stack or.
Maybe Google stack on neural regrowth.
Oh, it might, unless he's talking about psilocybin.
Maybe.
Yeah, because I mean, I know that psilocybin's been known to help with neuroplasticity, both in microdosing and. But I can say this because I'm not a doctor. If I was a doctor, I'd get in all kinds of trouble for this. But I'm not a doctor, so.
I think it's something a microdosing treatment they use that uses the active ingredient found in magic mushrooms. With like other. Yeah, thank you. I was like, I don't know how to say that.
Yeah, that was a term I'm not used to, but yeah, that is, as a matter of fact. Let me see if I can find.
And see, that's
while you're finding that, I want to say hi, Mac. Nice to see you. Happy New Year to you.
Hi, Mac. Good to see you. I hope you're doing okay. I finally figured out what your screen name was after a million years. People would always say, "Oh, hi, Mac," and I'd be like, "Who's that?" Oh,
it's Sharon.
I got it. Yeah.
I still call her Sharon. I have a hard time remembering to call her Mac. So.
Yeah, may promote the neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to form and reorganize synaptic connections, especially during learning and following an injury. It's good for addiction. It's good for OCD.
Yeah, I think
end of life.
It's fascinating to me is that more people are coming out and saying like actually helping destigmatize this stuff. Because I was even thinking too, like I was talking on another channel with somebody about it actually might have been Kim on a different video where it was like generational trauma has affected my family with certain topics.
Yeah.
And actually I'm really into sociology and history and actually digging back into the like sociological, historical things that my grandmother was experiencing to hear about her trauma and how she ended up having to compartmentalize and try to raise 6 kids, but also had at least one miscarriage. And then like, you know, how her coping or lack of thereof affected my mom and then trickled down to me. And so it's not even just my trauma that I'm working through. It's like learning. And my mom is at a stage of her life where she is very much alive, but very much mentally in the releasing family secrets mode that people usually probably get into like closer to the end of their life.
Oh boy.
And so sometimes I'm like, Mom, you need to like give me a warning if we're gonna have a fun conversation or I'm gonna need to talk about this with my therapist later. But it's giving me so much insight just to talk to different people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cordyceps is what it
Yeah.
is in mushroom coffee,
Yeah.
which is what
Oh,
helps
okay.
replace caffeine. Well, I mean, mushroom coffee still has a little bit of caffeine in it, but
Yeah, and there's where is it?
and for
But yeah.
nerds, it's also the start of the zombie virus in The Last of Us. But you know,
Nice reference. Nice. I'm impressed.
But I just think I
Oh,
want to
oops.
say really quick, like as we usher in 2025,
Mhm.
that look at how far we've come in little up to a year, Kim, or have you only had your channel for
Tomorrow's a year.
tomorrow is your year mark? Yay!
Tomorrow's my year.
That is so cool. Oh my gosh. But I was gonna
Isn't
say,
that
like,
awesome?
look at how I mean, did you think that you would have this when you made your
No.
first video?
No, I didn't. I had no idea what I was doing. None. Um, so yeah, I had no clue. So yeah, no, I love the fact that we have such a community. I love the fact that you are part of my community and Ben as well. I mean, the people in this community have such a vast array of experiences. That's why I want to talk specifically to Barbie. I'm just going to put up my email address. I want to talk specifically to Barbie. I want to talk specifically to other restrained. And in particular, because those are situations I have almost no experience with, and I would love to learn more about it. And I want to learn about things from people with the experience. Like I said earlier, rather than somebody who has studied things, I only do first person, except for I would include you as having first person experience, Ben, as studying body language. So because you have studied it, and even though it's talking about the study of, it's still, I think it's really.
I think the mix can be important. Like sometimes I learn a lot in Keela's streams with Mental Health Matters when Gretchen's in the chat and she'll be like, oh, take a look at this link or whatever. And it's one of those things where I think the more we show that, like, I hate the word regular right now, but that's how society sets it up. Regular people, typical people.
I use typical.
Typical, I like that. Like, this isn't something that happens randomly. It's a lot more common, but it's been pushed and relegated to a corner of society where it's like you're made to feel that you're uncommon.
Yeah.
But when you start looking into statistics, it's like 1 in 4 women has dealt with SA.
Yeah.
That's an insane amount.
Yeah.
And less than a third of them ever talk about it.
Yeah.
Or just like, look how healing it's been for people just to say, like, I'm on a mental health journey. There's been people in the chats before that are like, oh, I'm going to reach out to a therapist for the first time because I heard you guys talking about.
And it's not scary anymore.
Yeah, it's not scary anymore.
Yeah.
It's like I kind of say, like, mental health is this thing that's been made to be like a weird ghost, right? Okay, if you break your foot, you're not going to tell your doctor you don't want a cast. Right? But if you have a mental health issue, people are so resistant to looking at a pill the same as you look at a cast for a broken foot. It's just a tool to help, and the tool doesn't work the same for every person because we have different body chemistry, different genetics. redheads just are more resistant to painkillers, apparently.
Yeah.
Another analogy that I really liked is somebody will say, "Oh, I only have a little bit of depression. It's not that bad. I really don't need to go get cured or looked at or treated or whatever." It's like, okay, like you said, Indigo, somebody may have a broken foot, they need a cast. Somebody comes into that same ER with a major trauma, that doesn't mean your foot needs a cast any less.
Mm.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right? So we can't compare
Yeah.
injuries the same way that people want to.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, yeah, and then going back to the whole psilocybin, that there has been quite a bit of research that says that that not only in microdoses does it help reestablish new neural pathways and help neuroplasticity in general. You can also get positive benefit from lion's mane, turkey tail, but also, doing full blown trips. If you go into it with the right mindset and you're kind of going into it saying, okay, let my brain talk to me, what's going on? And there's a lot of people doing it. Chase Hughes is doing
Man,
it.
I will say I
Yeah.
was very resistant to trying magic mushrooms from a young age because I was too worried that it would. Now I'm more educated in how schizophrenia actually works, but I was like, I don't want to trigger it. That was my thought as a kid, but now I have a little
but the
bit of
thing
a better
is-
understanding.
You can have a better understanding, but it can trigger it. It won't cause it, but it can trigger it if it's already there inside your brain. So
And
for
see,
me to
there's that
use
thing.
psilocybin may not be the smartest course of action because I already have a psychotic disorder. Right?
Yeah, that's very important.
Yeah, it's knowing your and
Like-
finding doctors that are willing to explain it to you. Like that's one thing I'm very thankful for with my new medical team is they're like, what can we do for you? I'm like, I want you to tell me why. Well, first of all, if you say you need to go do this, why? Why do I need to go do that? And B, if it's a medication, explain to me what it's going to do to me in terms I can understand. Because that's why people get scared because they're like,
Oh, absolutely.
I don't want to feel like a different person or I don't want to lose myself in this process. But I feel like I gained myself back. Like the years I spent being afraid of treatment.
Yeah.
I kind of wish I could go back to college me and be like, no, listen to literally everyone. And go get this. But you have to be ready. Like that's the other thing. You have to be ready to do it for yourself. Like that's the
Absolutely.
The first
you have
step
to take
is,
ownership.
Yes, that's what Christy was saying earlier, right? Like accountability and ownership of.
Absolutely.
But there's all sorts of things that you can do to help neuroplasticity. Avoiding red dye is actually a big one. Methylene blue. Actually, methylene blue doesn't help neuroplasticity so much as it does neuroprotection. It also helps oxygenate, big word.
Oxygenate.
Beetroot powder. Psilocybin, I talked about. Ketogenic diet, if you can do it. Not everybody can.
Yeah.
And that's part of the problem is a lot of, people are, oh yeah, it's all good for me too. Well, it depends. Omega-3 fatty acids.
And I will put that out there. Talk to your doctor. We are not doctors, but we've been through enough with multiple doctors in our own experience. Like for example, when people say, oh, have you tried this diet? I'm like, no, because my nutritionist didn't recommend it. Like, so for me, for example, I went from having one primary doctor who kind of cared and would maybe help me to jumping into a medical system where all of my doctors are in the same system. They talk to each other. There's constant communication. That was a huge game changer. But I had to facilitate that by going to each person and being like, I really need you to talk to each other. Like, I work
Mhm.
8 hours a day. I don't have time to pass your message to this person. Like, you need to
I
put
don't have
notes on
time to
my
hold hands.
please do
Yeah.
your job
Yeah.
and put notes on my file from my visits because I don't
Yeah.
have time to add them for you. And I'm kind of paying you a lot of money. So could you put the notes in my file, please?
Yeah.
But it's amazing
Exactly.
having that feedback of, oh, can I try this? Or bringing
Yeah.
something up, and then all of them can get together and say no, but they'll explain to me because I asked
Yeah.
them to why. I'm like, don't
Yeah.
tell me not to do
Mhm.
something or to do something and say just because. No, give me the
Yeah.
reason why.
No, that's right.
Yeah.
That's
A
right.
good doctor won't mind explaining it. And a good doctor won't
No, not
also
at all.
mind you saying, "Hey, can you tell me about this?" And like my doctor, when I
Mhm.
asked her about psilocybin, I think that's a great idea. Okay, we'll go ahead and start you on next month. But
Right.
yeah, you know, a good doctor won't mind telling you. I don't think that's a good idea for you because a lot of this stuff, it can cause, like you were bringing up with you know, certain conditions. Yeah, it can bring up dissociative issues and things like that. So
Absolutely.
you know, it's not necessarily, there's not always a one fit, you know, one size fits all. But the thing is, there's a multitude of things to help with neuroplasticity. If you can't do this one, then you can, you
Mhm.
know, then maybe this one or that one, or you know,
Mhm.
learning helps neuroplasticity. That's something we can all do.
Does it ever?
That's
Yeah.
some Yeah, and that's something at which I have to do constantly, which even
Mm.
doing small things like this one amazes me. Video games best because you avoid all possible consequence. Trying to go in reverse, especially like GTA or something like that, trying to drive in reverse for a long amount of time, then try going forward and watching what happens. Yeah, it's kind
Oh
of scary.
my. That
'Cause
sounds
yeah, your
dangerous.
brain your brain can switch to, no, I want to turn this way, so I'm going to go this way, and it's like, oh, but yeah, that's
Yep.
putting your belt on backwards, tying your shoes backwards, small things like that. It helps, yeah, you know, get that brain going in different ways. You know, because a lot of these things are scripts. Like you were talking about driving home, that becomes a script. My brain says, "Oh, I know how to do this. Ben's driving home. I've done this," and so it says, "Okay, load up the script." Boom. Now you can get thrown out of that pretty easily. Second a car honks its horn, you'll be kicked out of it. But our brains
Mhm.
only have a little bit of processing power, so it
That's
tries
why,
to save
yeah.
wherever possible.
That's why when people were
And
like,
I
oh,
hate to cut this lovely conversation short. We will continue it on the 2nd because it is now time for Misha on the village. So I'm
Oh, wait a
going to
minute.
stop us here.
oh, can you drop the link in the
Happy-
chat and we can pop in from there?
Awakened by the looking glass reflection in the house. Hey, Awakened, nice to see you.
I just love calling her Awake Ned.
So I don't know if I have the village's email address. Hang on.
Villages
Do
like
you have it?
Or just a link for the channel. Oh, wait, actually, I'm already subscribed. Okay, cool.
Whatever happened to Village Inn?
Okay.
They had good.
Alrighty. See you, everybody. I will see everybody tomorrow at 2:00 for another devotional. And again on the 2nd, I will have Ben on. We can talk neuroplasticity. We can talk body language. We could talk all sorts of different things. And if you have a life story that I need to tell, contact me. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.
Bye.